All right. Hi, guys. Let's see what's going on here. I am doing this kind of as a test to see what happens and also to put out some more information. As right now, we're checking into our multi-stream to see if we can go live both on Facebook and on Twitch at the same time. So hopefully that's what's happening. We'll find out in just a moment. But just to make things kind of useful here, I figured I'd go ahead and put out some information to you. Because as we went ahead and talked about in the previous live video, where Sherry happened to be here as well, we were talking about this little guy, our gnome stele painting. This little thing is going to be done on an 8 by 10 canvas, little 8 by 10 canvas board. You can see it's not a stretch board. It's just a tiny little canvas there. It's like what we use in the Roadhouse if you came on in during the weekend and we're doing stuff. So, yeah, standard little 8 by 10 canvas. Got this cute little gnome eye on here, which when we go ahead and get ready to do this class, I'm going to send you a stencil that go ahead and covers this guy. So you can go ahead and just slap that stencil on down, do the basic outline of what the gnome is, add a few little things like his nose and where his tie is going to be, and you will be all set to paint. You will not need to know how to draw anything, because believe me, I don't know how to draw much either. And here it is. Here's what he's going to look like. So that'll give you all the basics that you need to do to make this painting happen. The plan for this guy is this is the really basic one. It's got his basic colors on in there. We're going to go ahead and do the basic paints to fill that in. And what my thought process is that we will go ahead and do one session where we do the basic paint on it, and do another session where we go ahead and take the basics that were on this and we go ahead and detail it out a little bit farther. So you can have a basic paint if you feel like doing, just want to get the basics in there, or if you want to go a step above, you can go ahead and do more painting to it. That way we can go ahead and do it in little bite-sized pieces. You'll be able to paint along with me live if you want to go ahead and do that. Or, of course, you can watch the replay of the live and paint along with it at your own pace, which is kind of fun because if you paint at your own pace, you can go ahead and pause me and rewind me. Not that you would necessarily want to rewind me, but there it is. You can go ahead and keep all of this going that way. But your next question, you should say, is, well, Ed, this is great. I know I need an 8 by 10 canvas to go ahead and paint this thing, but what else do I need? You're not sitting in the room with me. Again, that could be an advantageous thing. And what kind of paints do I need to go ahead and make this happen? Oh, goodness, I've got a special guest star coming on in.
Hey everyone, how are you guys? We're gonna let Ed talk about all the painting and everything like that, but I just want to come in and say hello and just kind of check it all out. We're live streaming this, and I guess we already went through all of that. But I did see that my friend Stevie's online, so hey Steve, love you. And hopefully, if you guys are going to be in Vegas, hopefully you'll get a chance to meet Steve. Trying to convince him to come to Vegas. So, all right, guys, love you all. Have fun painting. Bye bye.
Sherry tries to convince everybody to go ahead to Las Vegas. Not that that's a bad thing. Everybody should go ahead and visit Las Vegas and maybe even live here. I don't know. No, we don't necessarily want everybody to live here. Only the people we like. And but we like everybody, so there you go. So I'm not actually going to do the painting here because obviously if I were to do the painting right now, you would then have to go ahead and paint along with me, and you don't have the materials that you need to go ahead and paint. So what kind of materials do you need to paint is your next question. Well, if you sat in with us in the Roadhouse, you know that we keep our materials very easy. We keep things really simple. In fact, you've probably seen this if you have painted with me in the Roadhouse. This is a th 3/4 inch flat brush. It is super handy. It's wonderful. It paints everything. You could get any type of flat brush between a 3/4 inch and smaller, and you would be in great shape to go ahead and do this. Why do we call this a flat brush? It is flat. If you turn it this way, you almost can't see it. And there it is. But it's got this flat little top on it and all. I would say anything between a 1/2 inch and a 3/4 inch flat brush would be a great basic material for you to have. You'll also probably need a little round brush. That is this guy. He's kind of pointy. Look at him here. He's got a little pointy end on him. He is nice for painting little tiny lines. In fact, these two brushes were what I used to go ahead and paint that entire painting. So there you go. Those are the two brushes you need. You can find whatever you would like that would go ahead and do it. You may already have them at home. If you do have them at home, great. Don't spend any extra money on doing things except for buying those canvas boards, which you will go ahead and need. There's also a neat little set on out there. If you know me, you know I am a certified Bob Ross instructor. You can see Bob in his stocking hanging around behind me next to the Roadhouse sign, and also over on that wall. If you look at there, you'll see my little Bob Ross certificate. But I'm a fan of Ross stuff. The Bob Ross Company has a very interesting little kit on out there that they call the Bob Ross Happy Lessons in a Box painting kit. And it actually has a bunch of fun stuff that you could go ahead and use for for buying for getting your materials all in together. It actually has some fun little brushes. It has a small version of the Bob Ross 2-inch brush, which is also pretty handy. It's a little bit bigger than the flat. You can see it's almost twice the size, so it's about 1.5 inches, but it's there in the kit. It also has what would have been the Bob Ross 1-inch landscape brush. It is actually a hair smaller than this 3/4 inch, so it's about 1/2 inch or so in size. Notice they're tiny. They're little brushes. They're very cute, but they're wonderful for painting on small canvases. It also has a little teeny tiny fan brush that if you're planning on painting with me quite a bit, a fan brush is also a handy thing to buy. So those are available. The other big thing that it has in it are these wonderful little containers of acrylic paint. These are your standard little, what does it say here? They're about 2-ounce containers of paint. They are good, like little bottles of craft paint that you could get through Plaid or Apple Barrel or all of those other things. Of course, I'm using Ross paints, but I'm not forcing you to use anything that you don't have available at a Walmart or at Michael's. The colors that I use white. This happens to be titanium white. That would be the Bob Ross version of it. I use my primary colors, which I have a red here. This is bright red. A good color of red will work for you. Also, if we're in primary colors, here's what would be called cadmium yellow, but any nice bright yellow will work for all the paintings that we do. Big fan of blue. This is a Prussian blue, but if you got a primary blue or a deep color of blue, that is wonderful for what we are doing. Another good color to have in there is some type of a brown. This is a deep brown. It is called a Van Dyke brown in the Bob Ross world. But if you found any type of brown somewhere in between your yellow ochres and out to your dark colors of brown, that's a good one to have in your colors. And then we also have a sap green on in here. A nice bright color of green is good to go ahead and have with what you need in your colors. So those are all of your basics. You notice I don't have a black in there. If you actually mix your brown and your blue together, you will get a nice color of black. This kind of blackish color that I have on in here is made with brown and blue. But if you like the idea of having a black color in there, buy a bit of black paint as well, and that will work out well for you. There you go. Those are your basics that you need for painting. If you have any questions about that, by all means, leave a comment on in here about Ed, can I use that? Ed, can I use that? I will probably tell you, yeah, you can use it. You can pretty much use anything you have available as long as you have a red, yellow, blue, black, white, and a brown, just because it is easy. You don't have to spend a lot of money to go ahead and get your painting kit together. Find whatever basics you can find. And quite honestly, you can go to a Hobby Lobby, buy a pack of brushes that they have there. They'll probably be about $7. And you will have all the mixed brushes that you need for all the paintings that I'm going to do, especially an 8 by 10 size. And that should work out really well for you. In fact, you can then also buy the little small containers of paint there from their acrylics. Not that I'm pushing Hobby Lobby, just happens to be that I went to Hobby Lobby the other day, and I know every other week they have a 50% off on whichever side of the aisle that you're on. So that's a good time to that a number of brushes that might cost you $9 will only cost you $4.50. Michaels, of course, use your 50% off coupons or anything of that nature to buy the sets of brushes that you need. Paints, just find the cheap ones. They'll cost you about $1 a container. If you happen to have more expensive paints around, you can use those as well. And we will talk later about getting together these stencils and such and how we are going to get those things going. Hopefully that all works out for you. Go ahead and get your stuff together if you want to go ahead and paint along. We will start then getting together and getting ready to go ahead and schedule our first painting sessions and start putting together other projects for all you fandom people on out there that want to go ahead and have fun with painting. Again, a reminder, our first actual Roadhouse Live is going to be on Tuesday the 6th at 4 p.m. Pacific time. And we will go ahead and get that running and we will be good. All right. So until we see you next time, I'm going to go ahead and check on these feeds and make sure that everything went ahead and posted. And thank you for indulging my little bit of painting time. And we will see you
On the road.
on Tuesday. Bye.